my crafty friends. Today we're going to do a 3D card. And we're going to need, well, I used these supplies. I used a black cardstock that was 8 by 8 inch. And I scored that at 4 inches both ways. Snowman Splendor stamp set. Plaid Tidings Snowflake Splendor. Stampin' Blends. And 'Tis the Season 6 by 6 DSP. Stampin' Blends, you can use whatever colors work for you, but I used blue, pink, and an orange. So you're going to fold, you're going to score and fold and burnish your cardstock on the 4-inch sides both ways. Since it's 8 by 8, it's going to, just fold it both ways, and that should work. Then you're going to take a pair of scissors or your cutting tool, and you're going to just cut up to the first score line, which is right in the center. You're going to cut one score line right up to the first score line. I'm also going to take out that little bump that gets made when you score the cardstock, just because it works. That's the way I decided to do this one. I don't do it on everyone. And what happens is when you fold over the right corner on top of the left corner, you have what turns out to be a standing card. You just have to decorate. So watch, see, just like that. Now I'm going to take some Plaid Tidings. Oh, let me show you how it goes into the envelope. It goes perfectly into a standard envelope. This is one of our envelopes. See? Has a little room on both sides. Works real nice. Okay, so I'm going to take a Plaid Tidings and cut it by 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And that's going to be the base for the front part of the card. Obviously, you can use whatever works for what you have at home, which is what I think is perfect. This is how it works. Use your stamp set, use whatever cardstock you have, whatever matches in terms of paper. Now this is going to fit right in there. It's going to have a nice little border going all the way around it. We're going to glue that down. I have it on backwards. Yep. And see that Plaid Tidings, it works both ways. Looks really nice. And I think this is a Just Jade color, which I happen to like. I like this Just Jade. I'm using it a lot. So then the other papers that I'm using is 'Tis the Season DSP, and I'm going to choose a background. Now here's the thing about using the background paper. If you get one that has a directional, you have to be careful when you're cutting it. Here, obviously, I'm going to have to use 2 pieces. I'm cutting it 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I'm going to have to cut it diagonally, right? Now, if you have a print that has a direction, it's really tough to do that. You would have to cut 2 squares and then figure out how it takes a little while. I can't explain it. Now see, I might be able to show you with the back end of this because it has the trees on it. So right now I'm taking the cardstock base and I'm going from one corner to the other, and these are the 2 that are attached, and I'm doing a diagonal score. So the 2 on the top, not the ones that we just cut, but the 2 on the top, I'm doing a diagonal score with the point being in the center. All right, you're going to put it into your scoring tool and you're going to fold it backwards and burnish it. Make sure that it sits right. Don't just, be okay with wherever you scored it, because it's not necessarily going to be correct. You can always, you know, fold it over. I think having that score line kind of helps you a little bit. And then burnish. Okay. Now see how it's on the two that are attached, and now it opens up the card for you. And it just makes it, rather than it being like a little room, it looks like it's three-dimensional. So now I'm taking the two that I just cut, the triangles, and those are going in the upper left and upper right corners on the cardstock. I'm just going to glue that. See how it has the trees there? That one side would work okay there, but it's not going to work on the other side. So you really have to manipulate and figure it out. You can only do one side one way. It's not like you can use one piece and like this hand, because the direction doesn't really matter on the side that I'm showing you. Just making sure I have a nice border around the cardstock, the DSP. I may have to maneuver that a little bit. And I'm using glue because it just gives you a little bit of wiggle room, making sure all the edges are going in the right direction. And then you press down and then use your bone folder going across. Okay, there we go. Nice. Moving on. Now the piece that I did initially, that's sort of like the base where my vocal point is going to stand. I'm just going to mark that one in there, get that one down. And give it a, maneuver it a little bit, making sure that we have a nice border going around. Okay. I just have to decide which am I going to put in the back there. I see these are the Velcro tabs that I'm going to use to keep it open. It won't stay open on its own. You need to put something there. I'm using Velcro. Some people use magnets. I think the Velcro is a little, you know, less weighty, easier to put on there. Just kind of grabbing a front and a back. And it's going to go in the corner right where I had it there. Okay, now we need to find something for that. Let's look. Okay, so I'm going to use snowflakes. This is the Snowflake Splendor. Really pretty backgrounds. I just have to, it doesn't matter which way I cut this. I'm going to cut this just like I did the other ones, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then cut it on the diagonal. Just deciding which 3 3/4 section I want, and so I'm going for the bluish one. Now you cross, just checking. You're going to put it one point and the opposite point on the scoring, on the cutting trough, on the cutting mat, and then just slide it right up, and it will make it so that it should fit on the two triangular spots. One there and one there. See how easy that is? Really simple. You could dress this up. Just be careful because, you know, you're going to send it in the mail to somebody. you may have to put it into a heavier envelope and make sure they don't put it through the machines. If you're going to just hand it to somebody, then that wouldn't really matter. You can make your own envelope for it. I decided to go with a pretty light background there, so almost like it's a clouds in the behind, because I'm going to use Snowman Seasons, I think it's called, and I want it to look like it's snowing for him. Now you could always use whatever matches what you're making. I could see you doing this with, you know, an Easter basket or birthday cake. So let that sit on the side for a second. So snowman season, that's it. So I'm going to pick out the little snowman guy who looks like he's juggling snowballs, but I think he's just enjoying the snow. And I'm going to be using the Let It Snow and Merry Christmas. And I'm going to use the Memento ink. It's a black ink. Here's the thing, I took out all the stamps, and then I lost one, and I had to go looking for it to be able to put it back on. It was a very strange moment I was having. Now I had cut the Merry Christmas, and so I could use it separately, but you can always put it back together again. It's not a big deal. Well, using some Whisper White cardstock. Just looking for my Memento ink, I think. So today is day 1 on the YouTube channel. Probably also going to have some stuff on my Facebook private group, which is called, it's a Paper Party Palace, and you can get there and join the group there. But every day for 12 days, I'm putting up videos of things that we can make for Christmas. I did a snowflake yesterday out of the paper, and you can see that on my Facebook page. I hope you'll join it. Here we go. So doesn't it look like he's juggling? He's actually he's just enjoying the snow. So I'm taking a little bit of the Just Jade, and you can use a light blue. Very many people use a light blue, but I figured it matches the color that's already there. And I'm just coloring in lightly in the shaded areas, like where the ground is, the bottom of his foot. And I'm going to give him some really pink cheeks. That's also an area that has a black mark. Usually if you just follow along where that is, the stamp sets generally have a place to shade. Now this is a Stampin' Right because it's the only orange one I have, and I think it's Flamingo, to be honest with you. But since it's supposed to be a nose and it's very little, you use what you have, right? Right. So that's pretty good. I'm going to take my scissors and just cut around this. I'm trying to think how I want to do it, which is why I'm going back and forth. So I just give it like a over. Oh, that's Lacey. Lacey's starting to make noise. I don't know why. Lacey, don't cry, please. I don't know why she's doing that. Okay. Let's move on. Okay, I'm using a 2-inch punch, and I fold it over the piece of cardstock DSP that I'm using, and I'm trying to get it into the punch. But here's a trick. The folded edge is not to get cut. So I'm maneuvering it so that I can get the folded edge to not be in the blades. See how it is right there? That's the folded edge. Popping that out. And then I have a place for my little snowman. See how that goes? Very simple. Okay, I'm taking some dimensionals. So I cut smaller circles out of a 1.5-inch punch. See what I do with those later. I'm taking some dimensionals, and I'm going to use the dimensionals to put the snowman on this one of the 1.5-inch circles. That's not the one that was folded in half. I'm just using the edges of my dimensionals. Okay. Sticking that onto the circle that was folded, and then that's where my little snowman is going to go. He's going to go right on that. I'm going to add some dimensionals for him. Oops, didn't cut that. So what I want to make sure is that he stands up properly when I put him onto the circle. So I have it standing the way it's going to stand, and then I put him up next to it. So there's 2 areas of dimensionals that are making him pop forward. And then that is going to go right in the center there. And all I want to do is I want to make sure that I can fold him down so when the card gets folded up, he is in a position that isn't going to be a problem. He's not going to come out, he's not going to be on the edge, he's not going to be in the way, he be able to close it up. So just working it through, and that should do it. Yep, that'll be fine, and he'll pop up. There are other ways of doing this. There are probably thousands of other ways. This is how I did this one. Now I am putting away my stuff, and this is where I lose the Let It Snow. And actually it's right underneath the that right there, and it's attached, and there it goes, and I'm looking for it. It's like driving me crazy. Can't figure out what happened to it. Okay, so again, we're going to use Whisper White, and I'm going to stamp out with Memento ink, the Merry Christmas. And like I said, I have it on 2. I cut it in half. That way you can put it down where it's Merry and Christmas is underneath, or you could put it across Merry and Christmas, and it works. It's fine. I cut my stamps up a lot. Now, for some reason, I was looking at this while I was doing it, and it wasn't inking up the way, it was beading up too much. So I was having a little bit of an issue. That's why it's taken me so long to get this inked up nicely. I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. And yet when it stamps, it stamped just fine. I don't know what the problem was. My eyesight, probably. There it is. It came out fine. And I'm not going to cut this on the paper trimmer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my scissors. Obviously, I have all of different punches I could punch this out with, but I'm basically doing this in a way that if you have stamps, you have dimensionals, you have cardstock, you could probably do this with what you have, and it's going to be fine. So I'm taking my really detailed scissors. These are great scissors, by the way. And I'm going to do it really close, just like it was a bubble around the, it comes out fine. It's like a little cloud. It says Merry Christmas. And I'm going to put some dimensionals behind this and then set this down in front of my little snowman. First I'm going to put my Velcro on here. Taking off one side, it's going to go right in the corner there. Take off the top one. Everything is still stuck together yet. And then I'm going to bring over the right hand side and lay it on top and press it in. There it is. And then that'll go right there on some dimensionals. And the last thing will be my little snowflakes. And we're almost done. So everything fits. Now we're just going to do a little details on the side. You can be extravagant as you want to be. It's up to you. I'm taking the little circles, the 1-inch circles, and I'm going to stamp some snowflakes on them on the side that is blue. They have snowflakes on the other side, but it's not going to go well with my little snowman. And these snowflakes were in the kit itself, the stamp set itself, so why not use them? If I wanted to, I could have put it right on top of the red, but I didn't want that. I wanted little balls of snow coming down in the blue. I'm going to attach these to, I'm just figuring out where I want them to go. Yep, it's going to go on the outside. Yep. Always thinking it through. So I hope to see you tomorrow. There will be another one. And please go and join our group, Paper Party Palace. And if you can't find it, if you go to Maryanne Mott, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator USA, and connect there, I'll have a link in there as well. And as always, I have a blog too, maryannemott.blogspot.com. And there's always some hops going on over there as well. All right, one last thing and it'll be good to go. So we're going to add a 3" by 3" piece of white cardstock here. This is where you could put a little, you can sign your card, say something, add another sentiment if you want. It's very simple. Just tape that down, easy to go. And you're done. You just add that and my Let It Snow, and we're going to be good to go. I hope you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more. Share if you know somebody who would like to learn how to do this kind of stuff. It's free, why not? And leave me a comment if there's something that you want to see. I appreciate that. I love to hear from you. Let me know where you're watching from. That's always fun. Okay, let's get the last piece in there. This is the Let It Snow. Finally found it. There it is. And we're just going to cut that piece out and attach it with some glue dots, and it's all going to be good to go.